Alright, let's get into the story time about how me and Genesis stopped being cool.
I'm like, okay, I'm like, he's basically trying to say I sound like a white girl.
Can you not be a fucking reasonable human being?
This is real, this is me, but it's what that was about irritated at this point. I'm fucking irritated. It'll be me. I'm down. Watch or keep up the scroll. It's nobody. I'm just me, man. And I'm happy to be it. Oh my god.
We fell out because Candy lost custody of her kids. And so now we all know Candy's daughter is my little sister. So this all started during the time that we had the fire, because there was a little, or that I had the fire, because there was a little time that in between going to my baby daddy's house, we weren't together. So I did not really want to be over there. So I was like going back and forth between Candy's house and his house, but I really didn't like being at Candy's house because it's a fucking mess, and that's just like as easy to put it as possible. So there was a little like 2 weeks that I stayed at her house on and off between my baby daddy's house and her house, but that was usually because of the nights that I was going dancing and I was trying to hide it from my baby daddy. So then what's going on around this time is the fact that she has a Section 8 inside of Sandusky, so she has a house out there. And then she has her house out here in Lorain County. And it was like halfway split between like stuff that my dad had helped her get for the house because he flips houses, which nobody knew about that. Boo, tomato. And then the stuff that she had already from accumulating over the years because she got that apartment after high school. So while I'm staying there, she ends up having to get evicted from the Section 8 house out in Sandusky, and there was nobody to really help her move all the shit. And mind you, like, it's a whole like furniture sets. My dad got her TVs. My dad got her like a whole bunch of shit to make that house more appeasable. So this is before he went back to jail. And so then she finds somebody that's living inside of the same like low income housing like area that she lives in, like a couple houses down, and they said they would help U-Haul her stuff to from Sandusky to back to Lorain County, which is about an hour if you know you know. So when she told me this person's name, when she told me who it was, this is somebody that I already knew from school. So as soon as she said that he was gonna help her move, I was like, all right, that's the risk you're willing to take, like whatever. But then when they get done moving everything, she's like, oh, but he asked me, like, because he didn't get paid or anything to help me move, can he stay at my house for a couple of days? And I told him, yeah. So I told her as soon as she said that, like, well, me and my son finna bounce because, baby, I'm not staying in the same house as a fucking criminal, a nigga that I know who's been in and out of juvenile since school. Like, I'm definitely not staying in the house with him with my fucking child. Like, are you dumb? So, like, for part 2. Okay, so part 2. So I end up taking like all of me and my son's stuff, and we went to my baby daddy's house because it's not like I didn't have somewhere else to go. I was just trying to, you know, be discreet. So and then I went back to my baby daddy's house, and I had let him know, like, I gotta come here a little bit more because I'm not taking him over there with dude there. And so he was like, yeah, I knew that wasn't going to last long because her house always been dirty as fuck in the first place. We didn't even want to sit down the first time I ever brought him over there. So and then we end up talking about it, and he's like, all right, like, we come to our own little agreement, our own little terms. And why the fuck? Like, Genesis and her are, like, tighter than me and her at the time, like, because obviously we fell out about my dad and that whole situation. So she was confiding in Genesis this whole time about everything that was going on. So they actually were having like their own little bond, even though me and Genesis have always been the closer two. So we end up getting a phone call, me and Genesis, from Candy saying like, oh, I'm getting arrested and I need somebody to come get your sister within 15 minutes or she's going straight into the system. So with that being said, I'm like, oh my God, like, obviously I'm not gonna let my godson or my little sister go into the system, but his dad, my godson's dad, got him. So obviously my daddy in jail. So single mother for the rest of your fucking life. Like, I can't make this shit up. So then I go and I'm like, all right, I'm going to come and I'm going to send my grandpa because I can't be there in 15 minutes. Like, I'm at work. So I'm an hour away. So, well, actually, I wasn't even at work. Was I? Actually, I was at work. I ended up getting a little job at a little eyebrow threading place. So I was about 45 minutes away, not an hour. So Genesis, she was up at the hospital, which is like around the corner from where the fuck the situation was happening. So she like, oh, don't call your grandpa to go get your sister. I'll go get her. But she's not realizing, like, if you go and get her, then you got to sign custody rights over to yourself right then and there. Like, it's emergency withdrawal custody once these type of situations happen, because he's a fugitive and he ended up being inside of her house. So then she gets there and she signs all the papers, but I'm trying to tell her, like, don't sign shit. Like, just let me do it, because I already have a son. I already understand, like, what comes with having a baby. Genesis is more like she don't have no fucking kids, that's for sure. So she wasn't ready for that type of life. Like, she wasn't ready for that type of commitment. And so she's thinking, like, oh, we can have like a little group agreement and she can keep her. And I was like, girl, like, when she gets out of jail, like, her bond and all that, like, she is not gonna be allowed to watch her without supervision, unless it's under like a visitation type of thing, because you signed the rights off. So then she's like stressed the fuck out, because she's like, I feel like I did this like really fast and I should have like did this and like I should have thought about it, or like we should have talked more in depth about what comes with all of this shit. And she basically just felt like it was all of Candy's fault, because why the fuck did you let this fucking fugitive inside your fucking house when you have fucking children to think about? So Genesis is a Leo. She gonna say what the fuck she gotta say. So she said that shit. And I didn't like the way that the message was being brought across, because the way that the delivery was like, bitch, these your kids. Like, bitch, do what the fuck you gotta do. What the fuck was you even doing in the first place? And to me, I'm like, look, the bitch already going through a lot. So I don't feel like we need to be putting more on her plate right now. So then she's like, I don't give a fuck about her motherfucking plate. Like, period. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep my comments to myself, because that's my sister. So I'm just gonna, like, I don't want what I have to say to affect the situation or to make you like sign off custody and her going to the system. Like, I don't want my mouth to be slick and be the reason why anything go down. So then she's like, nah, bitch, say what the fuck you gotta say. Like, I don't give a fuck. So I'm like, girl, like, I just said, like, this is between y'all. I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm not about to, like, I'm about to go back and forth about it, and it's not my fucking kid. I have my own kid to worry about. So this story ends up being long drawn out over about, not really too long, like over about the course of a week. And she was like, fuck that, I can't do it. So I don't know how she did it, if she took parenting classes or whatever it was, but she was able to get like her rights to get her by herself put back into place. So she didn't end up having to stay at my house for any time. But when I came to go pick up my little sister from Genesis, she was like, basically like, we can fall out about this. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, we're not, if that's how you want to do the situation, y'all trying to make it seem like I'm weird because this bitch did some weird shit to lose custody of her fucking kids. And looking back at the situation, I really feel like Genesis was being hella real. Like, Genesis was being hella real. And she was saying how it was. And I was just more so trying to be like the comforting friend and not like the bash you type of friend. But looking back at it, like, this bitch do dumb shit. Like, she's a shiesty ass bitch. And so after that, after I picked her up, she said, I love you. I said, I love you. And we've never talked again. She unadded me on all social medias. And I'm like, how the fuck did I lose a motherfucking friend that I had for the past 13 years because you lost custody of your fucking kids? Like, oh my God. Like, let's be so fucking for real. And then on top of that, like, it didn't make the situation no better. The bitch pregnant now. Like, it's just gonna be more fucking kids in the equation and more dumb shit happening. Like,